You got the touch.
This is Stan Bush, and this epic video from Optibotimus truly has the touch.
Yeah!
This is Optibotimus with another video review, and today we're going to be taking a look at a very special Transformer, the Toys R Us exclusive Masterpiece Optimus Prime. As you can see, very big figure. Now this is the second kind of Toys R Us exclusive version of Masterpiece Optimus that we have. This is the new MP10 mold. Now I'm doing a video review focusing kind of on this one because this is what most people are going to be able to get, but I will be bringing in the MP10 to actually kind of give you a comparison. So just a bit of a warning, this will probably be a fairly long video. But as you can see, unlike the previous versions, this version of Optimus Prime comes with this trailer. But not only his trailer, it comes with a spike, a roller, a gun, that axe, all the cool stuff. Even a matrix that you can see right there. Now, this side doesn't have nothing. Oh, it's coming really close to the camera. It has his tech specs and stuff, and really that's about it. Flip around here on the back, and you can see for millions of years, noble Optimus Prime has led the Autobots in their war against the tyranny of Megatron and his evil Decepticons. His unwavering courage in the face of centuries of desperate battle is an inspiration to his comrades. He's an unstoppable warrior and a flawless leader, pushing ahead through the darkest times in the history of Cybertron and remaining unbowed, unbroken, and always committed to victory. Absolutely fantastic. It is Optimus Prime, without a shadow of a doubt. One of the most amazing characters from 1980s cartoon, whatever. It's Optimus Prime. So there you have it, a quick look at the packaging for the guy. So let's get him open and see how cool he actually is. Alright guys, now starting things off, what I'm going to try and do with this is start kind of with like the smallest accessory for Masterpiece Optimus Prime and kind of go up to the big guy himself. So starting off first, here we have a look at the Spike Witwicky figures. Now this one right here on this side is actually the one that comes with MP10. The one here on the left side is the one that comes with the Hasbro version. And basically you're seeing an almost identical representation. One of the biggest things that you're going to notice is that the hair on the Hasbro version is a little bit more glossy than what we have with the MP10 version. Does that bother you? It doesn't bother me, so I don't know. Then the other thing that you're going to notice is that the boots on the MP10 version are a little bit deeper of a yellow color. The Hasbro version is a little bit lighter. But, I mean, essentially, they are the exact same figures. Nothing really changes. In terms of the articulation, the head is static. It will not move. The arms will rotate 360 degrees. They don't move in and out or anything like that. Both arms do that. As you can see, it's just got this little kind of sliding joint here. Same kind of joint here at the hip, forward and back, and he bends at the knee. And like I said, that's it for its articulation. But the fact that he actually comes, and he's a little bit tough to stand because he's so tiny and you can't get his legs positioned well, but the fact that this actually comes with Optimus Prime is really cool. This can actually interact with the toy, and it's just overall a more enjoyable piece because you have more play factor. The other thing that I'm kind of noticing is that the MP10 skin color is a little bit more actual skin color, whereas this has a lot more pale tone to it. So that's about it. That's Spike. Next up we have Roller, and basically what you're seeing is the difference between the G1 toy and how Roller looked in the cartoon. As you can see, this is the MP10 version, and this is how the original G1 toy was. Roller was silver. Now, the actual cartoon had Roller being this blue color, which looks really nice, and again, it's really kind of just personal preference which color you like. As you can see, with the MP10 version, I do have some stickers added here, kind of across the top, Autobot logo, flip around here on the back, you got some taillights. This set is available through repro labels, and you're going to see a lot more of that throughout the rest of this video with the MP10, especially when I get to the trailer section. Now, both sets, MP10 or the Hasbro version, will work with that repro labels upgrade set. So if you are interested in picking it up, definitely consider it. I'll put a link down in the video description. You guys can look at it. But now one thing that is cool that I mentioned previously with Spike is the fact that he can interact with even Roller. As you can see, he just sits right in there. There's a little seat. And as you can see, some really nice molded detail right up inside there. Beautifully detailed. Exactly what we've come to expect from Masterpiece figures. Now, one thing that is absolutely fantastic. For the longest time, people always wondered, where did Optimus Prime's trailer go when he would transform? Well, the designers actually played on that a little bit. What they did was you can take this, you can pop this off like so, you can rotate that around if you really want to. You can then, number one, you can store his gun here, but you can rotate this around like so, put that back up, and I'll show this later on, but this can actually tow the trailer away. Now granted, it's kind of a little weird because, well, he's tiny, so fold that up, and both of these, like I said, have that. Rotate that around if you want to, fold that in, and there's a little gas can right there, which is really neat. And that's a wonderful little take on it. Absolutely fantastic, and again, adds to the playability. I'm taking a look at some of his other weapons. As you can see, he does come with his iconic blaster, as well as the axe that we saw in the original animated series. I believe we saw it in one episode, and that was it. But it's awesome that it comes with it. Now, the gun is really very cool. It actually can transform. You fold it in like so, and I'll show this off later on. When I'm actually showing Optimus Prime, but this actually stores on him, which is really cool. Another kind of play on the, where does all of his stuff come from? Why does his gun just magically appear? Well, they answered that, and you just push this little button and it folds right back out. Now, these are identical as far as I can tell. The only difference is on this little tab. The lighter color is the Hasbro version, the darker one being the MP10. These actually kind of play off the actual thigh colors on the actual Optimus Prime figure itself. So that's where you can kind of keep these differentiated. But otherwise, the weapons here are identical. Now, you're going to see a little bit of a difference here in terms of the axes because, again, these are Repro Label add-on stickers, which I just think look fantastic. Other than that, I don't see much of a difference, honestly, between these two. The one thing that I do notice, though, is the Hasbro one can detach. That's interesting because this one doesn't. It feels like it's kind of glued in there, and I'm not going to try pulling it, but I don't know if that's something that's just with this one or if it's with all of them, or Hasbro made it possible where that detached, or they just didn't glue it in there. I honestly don't know, but whatever, for some reason this one doesn't stand there. There we go. But basically, there's his weapons, and there isn't really much of a difference between them. Now, as I mentioned previously, you can actually store this on roller if you really wanted to. Just take this, kind of lower this down. You can flop this down. If you have it rotated around like so, rotate it back around, and then you can just take this, plug that right in there, close that up, and now roller can go around carrying Optimus Prime's gun. So that's another kind of, I don't want to say display option, but another kind of storage option if you don't transform the gun and store it on the back of Optimus, which I will show off here in just a second. And here we come to the biggest accessory that Masterpiece Optimus Prime comes with, his trailer. Now, this thing absolutely, without a doubt, is almost as iconic as Optimus Prime itself. My only problem is I really wish that the Autobot logo was up forward a little bit more. In the original, that's really kind of where it was. That's my only minor kind of nitpick, I suppose you could say. But overall, this thing is fantastic. You flip it around here on the back, you have actual tail lights, you got a nice detailed back door, everything on here. The amount of detail is phenomenal. You flip around here on the bottom, you can see all the, well, not really engine, but kind of like axles and things like that. You got an extra tire here on the bottom. I mean, this is absolutely wonderful. These actually store up and inside here, so when you're driving, obviously you can do that. But one thing that's cool is these little bits here rotate out, and as they do, you're going to notice that this bit actually rotates down, as you can see, just like so. And you do that on both sides of this. Very nice. Flip it here, and you can have it kind of stand up like so. Now you can flip it around here to the back, and then to kind of open these doors, you kind of have to lift this up a little bit, open it up, just like so, and you can look inside there, and you can really see that it looks different than what you would expect. Now, using my little flashlight to kind of light up things in there, you can see that there is a little piece that really kind of hides, well, his kind of weapons. And you can take Roller still. You can still have Roller sit in there. He doesn't peg in like the vintage unit, but you can see that that's pretty cool, actually. Then when you want to actually have Roller come out, there's actually this section that slides out, I'm going to angle this off to the side. Goes down, and now you can reach in there and you can have Roller deploy from Optimus Prime's trailer. And as I mentioned previously, the cool thing about Roller is he can actually interact with the trailer itself. As I said, just take this section, separate this, rotate this down, you can rotate that around, rotate this up and around, fold that back up, come around here to the underside, take these, tuck these away, and you can see the actual hitch right there. It's kind of got these little slots on here, and then all you do, and it's kind of hard to see, but zooming in so you can actually see what's going on, these just slot on the side all the way down, just like so, and now you can actually have Roller pulling the trailer itself, and as you can see, it rotates nicely as part of the hitch joint, stays nicely connected, and now Roller can actually take the trailer and make it kind of disappear, do a little backing up here, whatever. So that answers the age-old question, what happens to the trailer? Well, Roller steals it. Now as for the trailers, I really should kind of apologize to you guys. I mentioned that this really is kind of a nitpick, the fact that this is a little bit further over. That's really more a personal nitpick. I like the G1 toy that actually had the Autobot logo closer to the front. If you watch the animation, it is roughly around this area, so it's not too terribly bad, it's just a personal thing, and I wanted to clarify that for you guys. But externally, as you can see, there is really no difference in terms of the looks for these two trailers. They are identical, at least on the outside. Now, when you come around here, open these up, again, you kind of have to lift this a little bit, and this is kind of a pain in the butt. Is this the one that I want to open anyhow? I don't know if this is. We'll just do it like that, the old-fashioned way. Okay, yeah, that's not the one I want to open just yet, so I'll just set that off to the side. When you look at these, what's really cool is, like I said, you can actually make this a whole lot more fun to play with. This slides out, rotates down. It really does kind of look like a trailer. You know, you got the middle compartment, as I mentioned, that really kind of hides anything going on. Definitely disguises things. Then when you open it, and rotating these out, just so that it's a little bit easier for you to see, when you separate these, and it is kind of tough to separate them. They peg together really nicely. You can rotate this all the way down, and you can see that this really does have the look of the G1 trailer. Now, moving this a little over to the side, you do have everything that's going on. Now, it's kind of called the repair bay, so you're supposed to kind of stand it like so. And then Optimus Prime stands here, and then this little guy comes out and repairs them. But that's really kind of goofy, if you ask me. As for some of the special features on the trailer when you open it, you can store his weapons. They can plug in right up in here, so that can go right there. And then the gun, you fold this up, like I said, you just basically transform it. And then this kind of, okay, sorry, you just take the ion cannon and you don't actually fold it up, you just set it right inside there. Staying zoomed in, you can see that throughout the entire inside, there is a lot of absolutely beautifully molded detail all the way through it. Absolutely fantastic. I mean, that is just superb when you look at it. But this is the Hasbro version. And despite the fact that I've added the Repro Label stickers to my MP10, you can see that the coloring is so much nicer. On the side panels here, you have a very nice kind of silver paint. Hopefully you're able to see that. Zooming in, you should be able to see the difference fairly well. This is a very nice kind of metallic paint that they used on the actual Takara version that they don't use with the Hasbro one, which is fairly standard. Hasbro really doesn't give us that kind of special paint. The other difference that you're going to notice is that this has a much lighter blue kind of interior on his weapons in the various consoles. MP10 has a darker color. Now these two different blues match with the actual Optimus Prime figure, so it does make sense. But there you see the basic differences between the two. And much like the vintage figure, he does have this bit that comes out. Now, there are no missiles or anything like that, as you can see. This little bit used to have a little rotating gimmick that would make this spin. It does still spin, but one thing that you're noticing is that is kind of loose and floppy. It doesn't really stay up all that well. So it still rotates, it's just kind of loose and floppy. And then this little gizmo is on this really nice kind of joint here, which moves back and forth in two different spots. It rotates, has two joints here at the elbow, I guess, and then it also opens. So absolute wonderful articulation. It also bends back and forth, rotates here, 2 joints there, and then obviously can fold all the way down. And just like the vintage, you can take this, open this bit up, and since you have Spike, again, you can have him interact, and you can have him pilot this. Very cool if you ask me. But in addition to interacting with that, it also can interact with the 2 various consoles on either side of it. Just flip the little seat up, take Spike, and boom, there you have him sitting there. Doing what? I don't know. And the same can be done on the opposite side, as I said, just put him right there. I absolutely love the interaction with Spike and the various parts with this figure. So incredibly awesome. But that's really it for a lot of his external accessories. How about we cut to the chase and get to the big guy himself, the one and only Optimus Prime. And here we have the heroic, iconic leader of the Autobots, Optimus Prime, in his very, very massively much more accurate vehicle mode. Now, it's times like this that I absolutely wish that I still had my original MPO1. I sold it actually some time ago when it was first announced that this guy was going to be coming out. And I knew that this would be my definitive version. But when you look at this compared to what we got with that, this is a vastly more accurate looking vehicle mode. I mean, seriously, guys, look at some pictures. In fact, here, I'll put this guy right here and I'll put a picture right here. I mean, you're kidding me. Right? That's amazing to me. This thing is just absolutely uber cool. Now, one of the problems that this has, and the MP10 also has, is these legs don't like staying together too terribly well. And sometimes when you try to squeeze these, it pops these gas cans out. As you can see, they just tab underneath here, which it's kind of hard to see because, well, no, you can kind of see it. It doesn't stay in there very well, and when you squeeze it, it makes them pop out even more. So that really does kind of suck. When you actually put the trailer on here, it holds it together, so it's not too bad, but I'll show that off here in a little bit. But the amount of detail on here is unbelievable. You can see a lot of the rivets throughout the whole truck mode itself. You got some steps right here, you got steps here, you come around here to the back. This is all nice and closed. The only real ugly issue would be this, but that's kind of hidden again by the trailer. You come around here to the back. You got tail lights. Very nice. Flip around here on the bottom. Now, obviously, you can see a lot of robot junk, but up here, a lot more kind of mechanical details and things like that. Absolutely wonderful. One of my favorite features on here, he actually has side mirrors. That's amazing. Now, they're not reflective or anything, but again, repro labels can fix that. So very cool. Nice chrome here on the smokestacks. And again, this is another kind of point of controversy, is that this version, the Hasbro version, actually has long smokestacks. They're the exact same size as the Takara one, so it's definitely nice. Usually when we get Optimus Prime figures here in the United States, the smokestacks get circumcised, and it kind of sucks, but coming around here to the front, absolutely gorgeous. Windshield, chrome headlights, chrome grille, chrome bumper, everything's nice. Now, the only thing that's not really all that cool is he's got a nice Autobot logo here on the side, but when you flip around on the other side, nothing. Nothing. Now again, that's a minor nitpick, and depending on which episode of Transformers you watched, the Autobot logo is either on his left shoulder or his right shoulder. But he didn't have 2 at the same time. I just think 2 looks better. And that being said, I'm glad that Repro Labels gave us one of those. And speaking of that, here we have, like I said, the Hasbro version, and here is the actual MP10. Now, what you're really going to notice is very minimal. I don't even know how well this is going to come across on my camera, but the MP10 has a deeper kind of red coloring, where this one is a little bit lighter of a coloring, and I really do hope that's coming across, but if not, trust me. In terms of paint applications, as you can see, the Hasbro one has these little yellow bits here. This, nothing. Just red molded plastic, so that really kind of sucks. But again, everything else is just about identical. You come around here to the back, and I'm going to flip it around on this side, and you can see the dark, more navy blue and the lighter blue here, and that really shows in terms of the legs. Again, that's really the only main differences between these guys. Everything else is pretty much the same. And as you can see, with Repro Labels, I got the sticker there and the actual built-in part right there. So I just like that a little bit more. So if that's something that tickles your fancy, you might want to consider picking that up. And beside that, the only thing, the windshield looks like it's a different color. This is a little bit more clear. This has a little bit more of a blue tint, I guess. You can kind of sort of see that looking through there. But overall, everything is the exact same. And like I said, the smokestacks, exact same. There really isn't all that much different between these two figures. Now, as I mentioned, the interaction between Spike and the rest of Optimus Prime really is very fun. You can't come around here, and it's kind of weird because how many semi-trucks have you ever seen open up this way? I mean, it's kind of weird, but I mean, at least you're able to take Spike. He's got a seat in there, and now you can have Spike driving around inside Optimus Prime, which is absolutely fantastic. I really do love that. That's definitely an added bonus. And even if, you know, there's not much of a actual steering console or anything, I mean, you can also have him sit on that side if you really are so inclined. But then to attach the trailer to it, just take these, fold these down. You can see the under section here, and then you got these two little tabs right there. You just bring these together, and kind of, it's a little hard to see, but there you go. And keeping it all nice and level, now you have Optimus Prime being able to carry his trailer. One of the problems, I suppose, that this kind of has, he doesn't have much of a turning radius. I don't know if you can see that, but that's about it as far as his turning radius. It really isn't all that much. And one thing that I have constantly keep forgetting to mention is that this MP10, or Masterpiece Optimus Prime, as well as the MP10, comes with rubber tires, which is really nice. But here you can see the trailer, and that looks absolutely fantastic. It really absolutely does. Like I said, the only nitpick would be its turning radius isn't really all that great because, well, the trailer kind of sits up fairly close on them. Now, semi-trucks in general have very bad turning radiuses, so, and honestly, I don't know if that's about average for a semi-truck. I don't have any knowledge about how trucks are. I mean, that looks about right, I suppose. I don't know. And honestly, you know what, the turning radius might not be all that bad if this section wasn't there, because it kind of looks like it's getting caught up on that. Yeah, that's really what's kind of catching it there. You can kind of see it stops right there where that blue bit is from where his crotch is. It could actually turn more if that wasn't there. So that's one, I guess, minor nitpick. Now, much like the fact that this is actually a completely newly molded figure, obviously the transformation is going to be completely different. First, what you want to do, just come around here to the side, tuck these in just like so. I like taking these, extending these up just a little bit, and you can see that it actually, you can see a bottom section disappeared just like so. Now, this is a little tricky to kind of do. You need to untab these and fold these out just like so on both sides. But you also have to get in here and get these, which can be tough to do because you're pegging them in, so that's a little bit tough to do, but it's not too bad. Then rotate these down just like so, just getting them out of the way. Then you want to come around here to the side and you're going to pull his arms out, but there's a little tab section underneath here that you have to kind of separate. You can see this little section right here tabs onto the inside here of the plastic on the silver bit right there, so you need to kind of loosen that up, rotate that out. So again, do that on this side, just kind of loosen it up, loosen it up inside there, and then pull these arms out just like so on both sides. And you can already see what's basically happening. Come around here to the bottom, take this. This is actually kind of tricky to get to untab, but untab that, fold that down, rotate that all the way around, put that back up. Do that on this side as well. Fold that down, rotate, fold that back up. Then these little bits right here on the side, just fold these in. Do that on this side as well. Kind of stretch these out, just getting them out of the way. Open up the chest bit. You can then rotate his head out and around. This section here on tabs rotates up, kind of locks into place, sort of by just kind of sitting there. Can rotate these bits down and around, rotate these like so, rotate this down, rotate this up. They're going to flop around, there we go. These are going to Lock on the side bit right here, kind of, sort of. Separate this. This is gonna tab down. Here, keep that up there. What's going on? Why are you loose? There we go. Untab that. Rotate this down, accordion this down, bring this up, and then this is going to actually kind of tab into the inside section here. You can see that the tab just kind of latches on inside there, and then you got the matrix in there, which I zoomed in just so you can kind of see. I'll show that off a little bit, but that's absolutely beautiful looking. Go ahead and take this section, fold that down, fold this in, fold that in just like so, kind of. That's a little bit not all the way there. There we go. You have to make sure everything's pushed down nicely. Basically rotate these arms forward, come around here to the back, rotate these down. This rotates up. Get those arms out of the way. That rotates up as well. These will then fold in. That folds in. That folds in. That folds in. Coming down here, you want to rotate the legs around. Again, just kind of keeping the arms out of the way. Go ahead, separate these. Just wiggle them loose. Make sure that this isn't pegged in there. Wiggle that loose. Come around here to the back. These sections here rotate around on both sides, like so. And take these, rotate these down, just to kind of cover over the wheels. Do that on both sides of them. Then usually, really, for me, what I like doing is kind of taking these and bending these out. That kind of pulls these out a little bit more than you can pull them all the way out. Come down here, fold the foot out. You're creating his foot and his heel. Do the same on this side, because otherwise it's, well, I guess I could do it. You could just pull on it. That works too, guys. Then come around in the inside, rotate these around, rotate these around as well. If the feet are still kind of angled in, push them out like so. Straighten out his legs, straighten out his arms, bring everything together. And here you have the leader of the Autobots, Optimus Prime, transformed into his awesome, iconic robot mode. And in my honest opinion, Optimus Prime has never looked so good. As you can see, this is just about as spot on of a representation of the cartoon version of Optimus Prime that you will ever see, at least in my opinion. When you compare what this guy looks like to what we got with the original MPO1 right here, you can totally see a huge difference. And that's a wonderful, wonderful attribute to just how good of some engineers really do exist out there when it comes to Transformers. This thing is phenomenal. Now, there are some minor nitpicks that I have, even with his robot mode. Starting out first, we're going to take a look at his articulation. Now, number one, his head is not on a ball joint, which, you know, it's not that bad because there is articulation in it, but I'm sure a lot of people will have loved if there was a ball joint. The head will rotate 360 degrees. And it also looks up and down. So, I mean, you can get almost ball joint-esque kind of movements out of it. Plus, because of its transformation, he does kind of have this swivel going on here. So, there's a lot of posability in his head. And I really don't think the lack of a ball joint is really all that bad. But I know some people complained about it. Now, his little ear things, these also are articulated, his little antennae. But one of the problems that I know I had kind of was really to kind of keep him looking good, you need to keep his arms kind of in like this. But when you want to move his arms out, you expose the joints there. So you can leave it like that, but that really kind of looks weird with his joints and such. And it's not something I'm overly thrilled about in terms of the look of it. But the arms will rotate 360 degrees. They move in and they move out like so, and I guess a little bit like that as part of the transformation. But again, that's only as high as you're going to get the arms. So if that bugs you, okay. The elbows right at the bicep, they rotate and they also bend. He's got wrist articulation. He's got individual finger articulation. Well, mostly these lower fingers are stuck together. The upper one here, his index finger, is articulated. His thumb, no articulation, although it really kind of looks like it might be articulated, but it really isn't. Coming to his waist, he rotates at his waist, back and forth at the hips. Nice ratchet joints forward and back. Rotates. Actually, what is this? This kind of looks like a something. I don't know what that is. That's not a joint, but that's kind of weird that that's put there. But he rotates at the knee, back and forth at the knee, forward and back at the toe. You got the heel that moves. You got a foot pivot. It also kind of rotates forward and back. So wonderful well, that's kind of, look at my chest. I mean, wonderful articulation on the guy, as you would come to expect with a masterpiece figure. It's just, it's not kind of the articulation that we're used to. So it's not bad by any stretch of the imagination. It's just, like I said, a little bit off-putting because you would expect some different things. But zooming in, you can see just how gorgeous that looks. I mean, without a doubt, this is Optimus Prime, and then zooming down, you can see some nice detail that carries in from the actual vehicle mode, and it still carries over to the actual robot mode. All the way down, I mean, that is just a superb looking figure, and I hate the fact that my camera is jumpy when I do that. Now, as I showed off before, he does have his matrix of leadership. You can open this up like so. And then, much like what we saw in some of the actual footage from the original animated movie and subsequently, he's got different compartments. This one can open up, but it still actually protects the actual matrix on the inside. This bit right here is kind of hard to get out, though. So sometimes I'll take a pair of tweezers and just kind of, if I can get it in there, right, there we go, just loosen it up, and boom, there you have his matrix of leadership. Now, honestly, this matrix kind of sucks. It's tiny. Now, to get it out, you just push on one side, and it makes it come out. Now looking closer at the matrix, I'm not 100% sure if we've ever gotten this before. I have 4 other matrices in my collection, and none of them look like this, so I'm not 100% sure if this is a newly designed one, or molded one. But you can see absolutely gorgeous crystal in there. This is made out of die cast, so nice metal bits. Flip around here on the back, a little bit smaller of an opening than what we have on here, so very cool. And then when compared to the MP10 version, you can see that the gold coloring is much darker. This is a much more accurate look, I suppose, at least if I remember right. I really don't remember entirely, but you can see the differences between them. And there aren't too many, it's just kind of the coloration. And then to put it back, you just bring it in and clip it all the way in there, and that you have his matrix back in. Lower this, push that all the way down, bring this up, over, bring that down, make sure you squeeze that all together, and there you have it. Now, again, for some of the differences, here we have the Hasbro version of Optimus Prime, and here we have the Takara version. Now, again, the differences that you're going to see is the red is a darker red, this is a much lighter red. The blue in the head, the hands, and the legs are obviously this darker kind of navy blue, whereas this is a light blue going on. But then also you see the dark gray on his actual thigh bits. The Hasbro version has a lighter gray, so really whatever color you want. And then again, the yellow comes through on the little runner lights up here where this doesn't have any. And for some added detail, obviously I added the sticker from Repro Labels. You got little knee stickers here. Got little thigh stickers up there. Not a lot of stickers are actually used for Optimus Prime. They're more used for the actual trailer. But you can see there really isn't a heck of a lot of difference. Now, putting these guys side by side, one thing that I do want to bring up to your attention, getting these arms out of the way so you can see this, turning the heads, hopefully again so you can see this. One thing that you're going to notice right off the bat when you're looking at the head are the blue eyes on the Hasbro version. That looks phenomenally and infinitely better than what we have with the MP10. That could almost sell somebody just by itself because that is extremely accurate looking. When you look at that, his eyes look like there's no life in them. And that's really very unfortunate because it's almost like there's a blue translucent plastic there, but there's no light piping on them. So that it just looks like hollow, empty eyes. And when you look at that, seriously, which one looks more alive to you? Now, regardless of which figure you actually like, I'm going to tell you right now that my recommendation to you guys would be to pick up the Hasbro version. The differences between them are very negligible. It almost doesn't even matter. I mean, you got a darker red, you got a lighter red, darker red, lighter blue, darker blue, whatever. Those eyes really make a huge difference. But the biggest, absolute hugest difference is the price of this. This guy, when it was released from Takara, cost about $225, which a lot of people thought was a terrific deal. I mean, you're getting Optimus Prime, you're getting a trailer, you're getting a lot of accessories, and that is a good price. But then along comes Hasbro. This figure, if you can find him, because he's actually tough to find right now because scalpers are going crazy, at retail, and that being specifically Toys R Us, as this is a Toys R Us exclusive, this only costs $100. $150 less, more than half the price of the original MP10. Now, a lot of speculation was running around, at least on my part, that this wasn't going to come with this trailer. When we got the Hasbro version of Rodimus, or Hot Rod, whatever, we didn't get his Winnebago trailer, and the price was drastically different. So, for me specifically, especially since Hasbro's never released a trailer for Optimus Prime, I honestly did not think that we would get a trailer with this version. The fact that we did, and the price was still only $100, blew me away. This is a fantastic figure no matter what version you get, but this one is absolutely the better deal. Now for some size comparison, here you see the new MP10 next to Hot Rod, and you can see that the size scale is really nice. Optimus Prime is a little bit taller than Rodimus, or Hot Rod, or whoever it is. Actually, I have him configured to be Hot Rod right now. So if it was Rodimus Prime, he'd probably be about the same height as Optimus. But you can see, this is the new scale that the Masterpiece figures are going for. For another comparison, here you see him next to the recently released MP Thundercracker, and he is a smaller figure, which again, really kind of works for me. And as you can see, gone are the days where you can put a nice looking Optimus Prime next to Megatron. This really needs to be the next Masterpiece figure that gets worked on, because as you can see, this is ridiculous. Coming to the last of his accessories, as I mentioned before, the actual gun can store on Optimus Prime. All you have to do is open this compartment back like so, and his gun just folds up in there, and then like I said, you push the little tab right there and boom, it transforms out, which is absolutely fantastic. And again, kind of plays on, where does this stuff come from? Well, it goes right into his back. He pulls it out, and there's been many times in many episodes where we see him kind of reach to the back and kind of pull his gun out. So that's a wonderful touch. Now, the one thing that honestly I'm not really all that big of a fan of is his Energon axe. I like it. I love the fact that they included it, but they did something very different. Now, if you remember with the MP01, it actually kind of clipped on. His hand would fold around and it clipped on. Now, this folds over, and you can see his finger still there. I mean, it's not terrible. I mean, it looks the way that it's supposed to, but honestly, I don't know. I don't dig that. I think maybe if the plastic came around, maybe if this was a little bit bigger, I just think that looks kind of ugly and really just looks like it's fitting over his hand, which it actually is. So that's, I mean, like I said, I like it. I like the fact, and this really is kind of flimsy now that I look at it, but I like the fact that they included it. It's definitely a nice homage, but I really do think that the MP01 version is better than what we got with the MP10. Now to transform him again, it's really fairly simple. For some reason, this one seems so much easier than the MP01 figure. Just take these, rotate these around just like so. Do that on both sides, come around here to the back, take this, kind of lift this bit up just to kind of get it out of the way. We're going to tab it in later on. Take the feet, fold the heel down, fold the foot back down over it. Do the same on this side, just like so. These sections here on the side, fold these down and around, straightening them out, down and around like so. Now, you can put the legs together at this point if you want, or you can just squish it in. I usually squish it in, but in order to do it, make sure that the joints are straight and then push this little button in. It locks it when you pull them all the way out. You have to push this to disengage that lock, and sliding it in, it's fairly easy. Just gotta give it a little push. There we go. Rotate the waist around like so, and like I said, you can bring these together now, or you can do it later at the end. It doesn't really matter, but it's more than likely going to detach anyhow, so it doesn't really matter. Come around here, open up the chest, then separate this. Like I said, this sort of tabs in here. You need to pull that out just a little bit to kind of detach it. rotate it out. Again, you can leave the gun in here if you want. You don't have to leave it in there, but when you fold it down, bring this all the way down, that'll latch into place right there. Kind of keep that straight and keep it bent up like so. Come around here. Again, I'm just gonna get these arms out of the way. Rotate these down. It's kind of a trickiness with the arms right there. Rotate that down like so. Do that on this side as well. Rotate that down. Then these come all the way down. Rotate those, kind of keep them out of the way. Do that on this side as well. Rotate that around. Kind of keep them out of the way. Come on, there we go. Just like so. Fold these little bits out like so. And then you can bring these up. Well, no. I'm transforming it into vehicle mode, Paul, not robot mode. Sorry. Rotate these out. Rotate that around. Again, just kind of keep those out of the way. Come around here to the hands. Fold the hands in, or the fists in. Take this section, pull this out. It can be tough, but just pull it out. Rotate these around. Tuck this back up like so. Do that on this side as well. Come on, fist thing, fist hiding thing. There we go. Pull that out, rotate that around, put that back up just like so. Straighten out these arms, collapse them inward like so. Open this, fold this whole section down. You have to pull this bit, and then usually I'll pull down the black bit as well, but this is a pain in the butt to get to. So you got that lifted up, fold this all the way down. Oh, his matrix came out. That's not good. Optimus Prime, your matrix came out. So there, all right. So fold this all the way down. That'll kind of snap into place just a little bit. Then rotate his head down, tuck it away. You can then bring this closed like that, I guess, if you want. Then these, oh, I'm sorry. You have to take these sections here, fold those down on both sides. Rotate this down, rotate this around. Then you kind of have to wiggle all of this because it's kind of crunched in here, so you have to be kind of careful. So get that wiggled in, and then like I said, come down under here, zooming in some. You can see there's a little red tab that has to slot down into a groove section that's actually on the inside here of the silver bit, and you can see in doing so it kind of can scrape things up a little bit. So do that on this side as well. Just rotate this down, around, tuck it in, lift that, squish that in, fit that in there, get that section to line up. That, like I said, slots in there nicely. Push all that in. Here we go, come on. There we are. Get that pushed in, get that pushed in. These little bits right here, they tab into the side, but again, when you tab them in, you're gonna pull these out more than likely. So really, whatever you wanna do, keep that up there, keep that up there. Rotate this section down and around, tab that in, tab that in, keep that nice and secured inside. No, there we go. Keep that like so. Rotate this down, bring it in, tab that in, and here you have Optimus Prime back in his semi. Oh, I forgot. Lower these. And once you do that, then you'll have Optimus Prime back in his vehicle mode. Now, as I mentioned before, in terms of Masterpiece Transformers, this is absolutely the best version of Optimus Prime that we have ever gotten. And I really do want to thank Hasbro for bringing this to us here in the United States. While there isn't much in terms of differences between this and the more expensive Takara version, at least in terms of the looks, the biggest difference, the price tag, is a huge difference. So Hasbro, thank you very much for bringing this to us and not skimping out on anything. This is a wonderful figure to have. And if you guys are lucky enough to find it in your Toys R Us, I would absolutely pick it up. This is the best Optimus Prime figure that I have in my collection, and I really doubt anybody's gonna complain too much about it. There's just so much good stuff with this that even the minor nitpicks, such as like the shoulder, the fact that the legs don't tab together too well, the minor annoyances really kind of disappear when you're actually playing with this. So I want to thank you for tuning in. I know this was a long video. I hope I covered all the bases, and I appreciate you sticking around watching the whole thing. So until next time, I want to thank you guys for tuning in. This has been Optibotimus. I'll talk to you later.
Optimus.